Cape, and I'm gonna go check out the boat. We got in kind of late, and thankfully, because we're kind of coming on into late spring here, early summer, actually late spring, we got enough light to see what we're doing. Oh, awesome. Looking good. Okay, we'll check out the port. Excellent. Okay. Well, I think we're probably going to unwrap this in the morning. But, yeah, because we got rain coming in overnight. Anyway, okay. Hey, welcome back to the Cape. Welcome back to Little Girl. And we'll get back with you guys a little bit later. Well, good morning, guys. It's really early. What's going on today is that rain has theoretically stopped, although it hasn't. It is supposed to be nothing but wind today, and that's fine. We can deal with the wind. But what I'm going to do this morning, rather than get the boat uncovered, I'm going to go ahead and make a trip up to Olive Garden, where I always upload. And I've got 2 videos to upload. One of them for Restoring Little Girl. The other one is a devotional talk that I do for the church where I serve. And so I'm going to grab an early breakfast here and get on up to Olive Garden. And so just go ahead and, spend some time. Because it takes time to upload. And their internet's pretty good. You can just park right behind the restaurant there, which is closed, as you know, for who knows how long here with the COVID thing. And anyway, so that's my morning. Is probably spending over an hour doing nothing but uploading the next episode of Restoring Little Girl from 2 weeks ago when we were down here. And anyway, so that's the morning. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day. I'm gonna get back and wait for the rain to stop. I mean, the last of the drizzle to stop. And then I'll go ahead and get the boat uncovered, and we'll see where we go from there. Have a good one. Well, smells good down here. I love it. A little bit of fresh varnish mixed with the smell of boaty. So, beautiful day out there. So what's going to happen here is that we're going to, now that we get the boat all uncovered and everything, I want to get out my my power supply and get back on the mast for a little while. I need to continue checking that out and mark things according to what circuits are. And by the way, from last time I didn't mention this, but there are indeed 2 circuits. One that goes to the spreader light down onto the foredeck, and another one that goes to the anchor light. Well, guys, it's working, and I figured out the problem. And I should have known right from the start, because the masthead light, or actually the anchor light here, is grounded to the mast. It uses the mast as its own ground, and the hot lead is the red lead that I just soldered to. So we're good to go. I mean, it just means that as far as a circuit working for this particular anchor light, you got to ground to the mast. That's all there is to it. As far as the spreader light, completely different ball game. Has two separate leads, one for hot, one for ground, and that's a whole separate circuit. So that's kind of good news. It just means that I've got to have 2 hot leads coming out of the top of the cabin, and that's yet to be determined. But for right now, guys, hey, anchor light works. We know where our electrics are, and it's just a matter of working on the wiring from the cabin up into the base of the mast, and I think we're going to be good to go. Okay, so here's the wiring pattern. Hot goes to green here. the ground goes to black, and that does that. That's the spreader light, actually foredeck light. Okay, hang on. Can you see it? Okay, foredeck light. Okay, so we shut that off. And then to light up the masthead light, hot goes to right here. This is you can see this is barely pink. Well, that's the same wire that's up at the top of the mast that I just wired into, that lights up the masthead light, or the anchor light. So that, and then of course ground is ground. But no, wait a minute. Take it back. Ground actually is mast. My point is, I think that at some point, what I've got to do is figure out what's going on top of up on the at the wiring harness, which is just wires sticking out of the top of the boat at this point. So let's get up there and we're going to take a look. I think actually that right now we pretty much know where we're at. Next thing is to just determine what is what. Well, guys, it's about 20 after 7. And yesterday, I'll be honest with you, I wimped out. The wind chill out here was just unbearable. I said, I've had it. I just, about halfway through the afternoon, I said, I'm done. And I went inside. In the meantime, what I did yesterday, here, let me turn this around just a little bit. What I did yesterday was this. I don't know if you can see. I took the knot meter out. I've got it inside where it's nice and warm, and I'm going to get this thing done today. Now, this is needed for being out on the water, because I don't want that knot meter just floating around in the hole up there. I want the thing, quote unquote, permanently installed. And so I've taken it inside where it's nice and warm. I'm going to get out the caulking. I've got some Boat Life caulking down there, and I'm going to get that tube all cleared out. Invariably, you're going to end up having to clear the nozzle. So I'll clear the nozzle, get some nice Boat Life around the flange of that thing, bring it out here, and I'm ready to go ahead and put that thing home and attach it, and just get that one out of the way. And that way we don't have to worry about water leaking in, rain leaking in around it and down into the boat. Hey, it remains to be seen whether or not it will work or not when we get out there. But as of right now, I'm gonna at least get the thing set up so that it can work, and we don't have to worry about the thing leaking when we get it out on the water. So, all right, guys, listen, I'm all set for now. I'm gonna go in and grab some breakfast, and I'll be back out here, and I'm gonna have that knot meter all. Get over there. That'll do it. That'll do it. Get a screw in this coming out. Now we're all set. All right. Let me check on the inside. There we go. Checking for straightness. I want to make sure that I have plenty of caulking getting up around the flange there at the top and at the bottom. Not worried about it at the bottom so much. It's bound to have it down there. All right. Now get it straight. Just about like that. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get some paint thinner on this. With Boat Life caulk, I've found that regular paint thinner works, but I've got an even better one. It's called Brush Cleaner, and the Brush Cleaner really does a nice job cleaning it up. Found this out a long time ago when I was installing the eyebrows up on the sides of the cabin. I think we're good. I want to clean up the excess, but I don't want this to go down and emulsify the caulking that's around the meter itself. You want that caulking to hold. I think we're good on this. It's just regular old paint thinner. And what you do is after you get done with your paint thinner, you go ahead and hit it with Windex. Windex cuts the paint thinner and it leaves you nice and clean. So anyway, that's where I'm heading right now. I'm gonna grab some Windex. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. There we go. Another clean paper towel. A long time ago, I went into Kmart down here on the Cape, and they had this massive bundle of paper towel for really cheap. Nowadays, I go over to BJ's and get it, but at that time, Kmart had it. And boy, that worked out nicely. I've got it stashed away in the cubbies around the boat, so that every time I run out of a paper towel, I just grab another one. I don't have to go out to a store to go getting it. So, okay. Leave that, and then we're going to go to the inside. And this is the locking ring that goes on it. And I'm just going to put it on the inside. This locking ring is designed very nicely. And you've got to expand it to go around this, so it fits really nice and tight and snug on the inside of the back of the meter. And then you just snug it up and put on your wires and you're good to go. So anyway, next. Okay, well, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because the light is really intense out here, but I got more caulking in around the knot meter here. And I put the locking ring on inside. And I thought it was going to be difficult, but actually it's not. Let me just show you here. Get around like this. And actually what I was able to do here was to grab hold of this and kind of push against with my thumb and my fingers on the other side, kind of push against the locking collar and actually pull out on this and push in on the ring at the same time. And then with my right hand, I used it to screw the tighten up ring, and everything is nice and tight there, and I think we're good to go. So consider this one done. The only thing I have left to do is go ahead and put my wires back on. You'll remember that I took a picture of the wiring, although at this point I know it by heart. I took a picture of the wiring back when I took the whole thing apart decades ago, 3 years ago. And all I've got left to do here, I'm going to let everything completely cure with that Boat Life cock on the flange on the outside. Got to let that cure for several hours here, and then I'm going to come back, and I've got my 3 screws right over here. Actually, this was the locking unit I had on that little wooden collar, and that wooden collar is all set up right now. So anyway, just these 3 little screws, put it back in, get the wiring back on, and we're done with this job. So anyway, back to the wiring a little bit later, but we'll call this job done. All right, guys, knot meter's all done. I just hitched this up. I dug out my photograph that I took 2 years ago, and checked it against this. We're perfect. Okay, that is the way the wiring is supposed to be. And actually, I looked it up. I've now got a schematic for this that I got off the internet. So anyway, this is an SR something one. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, that's it. And we'll see how this goes. Next time we get a chance to work with this, will be out on the water as she's sailing, to see if we've got any kind of recognition coming off from the wiring in here to the meter out here. So anyway, all right, project done. Hey guys, we're back up in Vermont. I'm going to do kind of a quick analysis or story time here of how I got my marvelous Johnson 6-horse long shaft. When we got down to the Cape on this last trip, I started looking at Craigslist Cape Cod, and a motor came up that was for sale way out in Harwich. And I drove all the way out there and bought an Evinrude 9.9. It was a 1990 motor, but it was in great condition. Just really nice motor. You're going to see pictures of it. I'm not going to include the video footage because I want to wrap up this video. But anyway, really nice Evinrude, and I thought that'd just be an awesome motor for my boat, because the motor that was taken off the boat to pay for storage rental was a Yamaha 9.9. So anyway, that being said, I went out there, I bought the motor, brought it back, and started doing some measuring. And here we go again. I bought a short shaft. I was measuring wrong, and I had not looked it up. I should have. Whatever. The point is, I bought a short shaft. And it was just very clear that was just not going to work on my boat. So next thing I know, this Johnson 6-horse long shaft came on YouTube, not YouTube, on Craigslist about the same time. And so I contacted the guy, and I told him, no, I've already bought one, but I thought it was all set at the moment. But I called him the next day, and it still hadn't sold. When I finally figured out that the Evinrude was a short shaft, so I called him the next day, and he had not sold that Johnson yet. So I called him, and I went over, and I told him what I had bought for $475, and he was interested. He was interested because, by the way, this guy was a professional outboard mechanic for who knows how long. I mean, he does this as his hobby now that he's retired. And so he was very interested in the Evinrude 9.9. And, he still had the long shaft Johnson 6-horse. And he had completely redone this thing. I mean, it was in gorgeous condition. He put it in the barrel, started it right up with effortlessly. Turned to me a minute. He said, "Start it again." And I said, "Okay." And so I just flipped it with my wrist. I may have already told this in the rest of the story, but it doesn't matter. And I just reached over there and flipped it. Unbelievable. With just a flip of the wrist, pulling on that cord, it was up and running again. Beautiful. What an awesome, awesome motor. And so what he did, he took my $475 Evinrude and traded it in, and I just gave him another $100. And I had myself a 2001 Johnson long shaft, indeed a real long shaft, and it's just perfect. Just what an awesome, awesome motor for my boat. And you'll see in this video that I've already got it in the boat. And anyway, really excited, and we're already making plans for my brother and I where we're going to go on our first sail. So. All right, that's it. I'm gonna just shut this down and include this in the video, and then we'll kind of let that go right on into the motor part, which is the very last part of this video. Hey, thanks for stopping by. All right, guys, here's the deal. I just finally have got this thing worked out. I'm making a trade. I called a guy that has a Johnson 6 horsepower, definitely long shaft, made as a long shaft. And this guy has been an outboard mechanic for many, many years and is in a club where they restore old motors. Well, I'm making a deal for this, Evinrude that I had just bought for $475. And I'm trading it in, and it's a good deal, okay? I'm trading it in for a 2001 2001 Johnson long shaft, 6 horsepower. And you know what? It's a deal because come to find out, that motor that I thought was an 08 is not an 08. It's all in how you read the serial number. And when he explained it to me and I looked at it, I said, okay, that's what it is. It's a 1990, not a 2008. So I'm trading in a 1990 Evinrude against a 2001 Johnson long shaft. And anyway, all I got to do is pay him an extra $100, and believe me, it's worth it. This thing purrs like a kitten, starts so easy. Gonna be a good deal. So let me go pick it up, and we'll take some pictures when we get there. Well, there it is, guys. A real original long shaft. I'll tell you what, she runs like a kitten, man. Such a sweet, sweet engine. After he'd started it and run it for a few minutes in the barrel, he said, "Start it again." He said, "But you don't have to." He said, "You don't have to pull much." He said, "Just your wrist." And I'll tell you what, I just snapped it just a little bit with my wrist. It started right up. I mean, just so sweet, so smooth, really, really nice. This guy knows what he's doing when he rebuilds a motor. This is an awesome, awesome piece of equipment for a little girl. So, guys, there it is. A genuine 6 horsepower long shaft, and it's going to be really sweet on my boat. All right, guys, well, I got this in. My brother and I lifted it up onto the transom this morning. What we did, and it made it life so much easier. Hang on. What we did, I just put a blanket across here, and I had things to stand on back behind. We just took it and lifted it right and just set it right here up on the stern. And then after we got it up here, we both got up here into the cockpit, lifted it up, and put it on the cockpit seat and worked on it for a while until we had things figured out. And then after he left, I went ahead and installed it, got it on the engine mount myself, and I wedged this. So I wanted it to be more vertical. So what I did, I wedged on the forward, yeah, I'm writing my own white here, aren't I? Okay, I wedged here, so that tips it more like this. I don't know if you can see it. Tips it the front of the motor more forward, and then I wedged. Then I went ahead and did my turnbuckles down back here, and man, it is in there tight as a tick. It's not going to go anywhere. nice and vertical, the best we can get it. And the only thing that it's going to happen now, that my lovely little 6 is, you see here, I've got taken travel off for now because I wanted to be able to get this in and out without having to deal with the traveler that bolts in right across here. But when we turn, I got really free range all the way as I'm turning this baby. That would be to starboard. But going to port, what happens if you look right over here, I run into this. I'm going to have to do the same cutout that's here over here. And that's going to be for the next trip. I'm not going to mess with it today. We're coming down to the very end of this trip and gotten tremendous amount accomplished. I'm really proud of it. We've gotten so much done. I have myself a marvelous, long shaft Johnson Seahorse 6-cylinder, 6 horsepower, and boy, it is an amazing, beautiful piece of equipment. So now all I got to do when we get back, I think next trip down, I'll try to do this, is go ahead and I'll get a pattern of what's here and just switch it over and try to mimic that pattern precisely over here so that it looks nice and balanced. I'm a balanced guy, so I'll try to get that done next time. And that way, we can go ahead and have full tiller coverage as far as using the motor is concerned. The other thing, which was really cool, and I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, I've got little Bombay doors here. Hello, the beauty is you can have those Bombay doors all the way closed up so that you don't have water splashing up in here as much. And watch this. When this thing is, I can go full tiller all the way, lock to lock on this. And going either, if I leave the front of this opening like I just showed you, I'll be able to do it both ways, and these Bombay doors being closed do not affect it in any way as far as operating the tiller and having mobility with the engine for steering. Good news. So anyway, this is a massive step forward. And as my brother said, basically all I need to do now is get the bottom paint on it, and I'm good to go. Yeah, I've even got my my gas tank in here. I don't have the gas line on it yet because the guy who sold me the engine gave me a brand new fitting when we were messing with the other motor. Let's see, which one was it? Yeah, it was this one. This one was leaking right here. And when I told him that, and we had struck a deal for me to get this motor, he walked over and handed me this brand new gas line fitting. So I'm going to cut this right off, maybe cut it back 2 or 3 inches. I got to get me a little 1/2-inch hose clamp, and I'll install this next time we're down. So anyway, that's it, guys. My little Johnson 6, and boy, what a piece of equipment. Lovely stuff. I'll go below and show some pictures of this in a minute, and we'll kind of go from there. Awesome. Well, we're booting out of here this morning, but my brother and I have been talking. He sent me some information, and I think our first voyage is all planned out here. And being brand new with this boat, I'm definitely going to have him as my second mate here, working with me, and just like I've been doing for the last I've forgotten how many years it's been since he's had Slipaway, but man, I've been his second on Slipaway so many years. We don't even have to talk anymore. I mean, I know how to run that boat as well as he does, and it's really kind of neat to have that kind of a sailing relationship, that we know each other's sailing abilities and what to do, when to do it. So anyway, I'm gonna just say this has been a phenomenal trip. The amount that has gotten accomplished this trip is truly amazing, and wow. I'm actually starting to get excited that little girl's going to get in the water and we're going to go somewhere. And with that, I say thank you for stopping by Restoring Little Girl. And I'm going to let this be a wrap. I'm going to do a very quick second video that's going to go with this to share with you some thoughts and some plans that we have and what we're going to do for our first voyage. And for that, I'm going to get out, set up my captain's table and get out a chart and kind of let you look at what we've got planned. All right. Anyway, for now, thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one. This is getting exciting.